The galaxy had a saying, whispered across 1,000 star systems in 1,000 different tongues. Never do a human a kindness. You will spend the rest of your life being thanked for it. Ambassador Lyra Vera of the Theshan Compact had laughed the first time she heard those words. That was before she understood what they truly meant. 17 years ago, the colony ship Ardent Hope had drifted dead in the void between the Kessler Nebula and the outer rim of Theshan space, engines cold, life support bleeding out, 4,000 human colonists counting their remaining hours in the dark. Lyra had been a junior diplomatic attaché then, barely 40 cycles old, aboard the patrol frigate Valanthe when their sensors picked up the distress beacon. Her commanding officer had hesitated. Humanity was barely a Class II civilization at the time. Scrappy. Resource poor. Diplomatically inconsequential. It would cost us 6 days of fuel reserve, he had said. Lyra had looked at the beacon's data. 4,000 lives. Children among them. Then we spend 6 days of fuel reserve, she had said quietly. They had towed the Ardent Hope to the nearest human station. No ceremony. No political treaty. Just a small act of decency from one species to another in the cold between stars. The humans had been grateful, of course. Tearfully, overwhelmingly grateful. Lyra had accepted their thanks with gentle Theshan grace and thought little more of it. That was 17 years ago. Today, Lyra stood on the bridge of the Valanthe's successor, a much larger diplomatic vessel, watching the tactical display with her hearts in her throat. The Dreth Collective's warfleet hung between her ship and the Theshan home system like a wall of iron and hunger. 47 capital ships. 300 support vessels. The largest mobilized force the Dreth had assembled in 2 centuries. And the Dreth were not known for mercy. Ambassador. Her communications officer's voice was brittle with fear. The Dreth Collective is hailing us. Fleet Admiral Gorath is demanding our immediate surrender and the coordinates of our defensive grid. He says resistance will be considered an act of. I know what he considers it, Lyra said softly. She had spent years building the coalition that was supposed to prevent this. Every piece of it had crumbled in the past week. Betrayal. Politics. Fear. The usual killers. Open a channel to the collective. I'll speak with Gorath. The Dreth Fleet Admiral appeared on her screen, massive, grey-armored, his 4 eyes gleaming with cold satisfaction. Ambassador Vera. I had hoped you would witness this personally. It is fitting. Admiral Gorath. She kept her voice steady. I am formally requesting a ceasefire under the Conclave Accords. The Conclave Accords, he interrupted with something that might have been laughter, apply to signatories. You have no remaining signatories willing to invoke them on your behalf. Your coalition is gone, Ambassador. This is over. Lyra's second heart, the one Theshans called the quiet heart, the one that beat for things hoped but not yet seen, gave a single, heavy pulse. She thought of a dying colony ship. A junior attaché who had simply done what was right. I have one more communication to make, she said. I am requesting 30 minutes. Gorath's amusement was audible. 30 minutes changes nothing. But I am not without generosity. You have your 30 minutes, Ambassador. Spend them wisely. The channel closed. Lyra turned to her communications officer. Open a channel on the emergency compact frequency, wideband, all sectors. She paused. And add the human allied frequency. All bands. Her officer stared. Ambassador, humanity doesn't have a fleet anywhere near this sector. They're a Class 4 civilization. Their fastest ships. Open the channel, Lyra said quietly. She spoke for 4 minutes. She gave their coordinates. She stated the situation without embellishment. She identified herself fully, Ambassador Lyra Vera, who had once commanded the Valanthe on a small errand of mercy in the dark between stars. Then she waited. For 11 minutes, nothing happened. Then the Dreth Fleet's sensor officer said something. Lyra could see the ripple of alarm move through Gortha's bridge crew even through the closed channel, visible in the way bodies stiffened, the way four-eyed heads turned toward their screens. Gorth reopened the channel. His amusement was gone. Ambassador. There are anomalous readings at the edge of our sensor range. Mass shadows. Consistent with, he stopped. Started again. Consistent with a significant fleet emerging from FTL transit. Yes, Lyra said. Humanity does not have ships capable of FTL transit at that speed. They did not, Lyra agreed. 17 years is a long time, Admiral. The ships arrived. They came out of FTL the way humans did everything, too fast, too loud, and with a breathtaking contempt for what was supposed to be possible. 62 capital ships, not the angular, elegant vessels of Theshan design or the brutish slabs of Dreth construction, but something else entirely. Sleek. Dark. Marked with the blue and white of the human Federated Navy, but rebuilt, remade, carrying weapons that Lyra's own intelligence division had only theoretical awareness of. And at the head of the formation, flagship broadcasting on every available frequency, came the UFSN Ardent Hope. Not a colony ship anymore. Lyra felt something she had not felt in a very long time. The channel opened. A human face appeared, sharp-featured, gray at the temples, with eyes that had the particular quality of someone who had spent decades looking at stars and deciding which ones to steer toward. Ambassador Vera. Admiral Darian Voss's voice was calm. Almost gentle. I apologize for the response time. We were on the far side of the Kessler Nebula when we received your signal. A pause. I was born on the Ardent Hope, Ambassador. I was 3 years old when your ship found us in the dark. My mother never let me forget your name. Lyra found she could not speak for a moment. Voss turned his gaze to the Dreth formation. Fleet Admiral Gorth. I am Admiral Darian Voss, Human Federated Navy, 7th Response Fleet. I am formally notifying you that the Theshan Compact has invoked the Mutual Defense Compact of 2847, to which humanity is a signatory. Any further aggressive action toward Theshan vessels or territory will be considered an act of war against humanity. Gortha's voice was no longer certain. You have no legal standing to invoke. We signed the compact, Voss said simply. The Theshans asked. We came. He let that sit for a moment. Admiral Gorth, I've reviewed your fleet's combat capabilities against our current deployment. I have no desire to see anyone die today. I'd encourage you to reconsider your position. The silence that followed lasted 47 seconds. Lyra counted them. The Dreth fleet began, slowly, to pull back. It was not a rout. It was not a surrender. It was the careful, deliberate withdrawal of a force that had done the mathematics and decided the mathematics did not favor them today. Gorth said nothing further. His fleet turned, and the darkness between the stars slowly emptied of iron and hunger. Voss watched them go. Then he looked back at Lyra. Are you all right, Ambassador? She thought about that question. She thought about a junior attaché and a dying ship and 6 days of fuel reserve and the way small choices echo across decades. I am now, she said. Good. Something in Voss's expression shifted, not quite a smile, but the human precursor to one, a warmth around the eyes. My mother also told me something else. She said the Theshan who saved them didn't even ask for thanks. Just did it and went on her way. He tilted his head. Humans find that very hard to let go of, Ambassador. An unreturned kindness is a debt we carry in our bones. I've heard the saying, Lyra said softly. Never do a human a kindness. Because we'll spend the rest of our lives being grateful. Voss nodded. It's not a warning, Ambassador. It's a promise. He straightened. The 7th Fleet will remain in Theshan space for as long as you need us. whatever you need. We're not going anywhere. Lyra looked at the 62 ships holding position between her civilization and the retreating darkness. She thought of the galaxy's old wisdom, the careful calculus of power and consequence that every spacefaring species learned to navigate. She thought that perhaps some species had never learned the most important calculation of all, what it meant when you were kind to something that remembered. "Thank you, Admiral," she said. Across the fleet channel, she heard, very faintly, 62 crews beginning to breathe again. In the dark between stars, a debt 17 years old had finally, completely, been paid. Though knowing humans, Lyra suspected they would find something else to be grateful for before long. The galaxy had a saying. Most species heard it as a warning. Humanity heard it as a compliment.